We are live. Guys, welcome to another live stream. As you can see, I'm usually with Steve, but tonight I am not with Steve. Basically, he remembered last minute that it's his anniversary, so he won't be joining us tonight. But what we will be doing, I've got two special guests, and we will be talking about our favorite horror films and games. No one's watching yet, so I'm going to leave this go a couple minutes, see if anybody joins in. It says we've been live already for an hour. That's crazy. Hope we haven't been live for an hour, guys. Got somebody in already? Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is go through some of our favorite horror games and horror films, because it is the Halloween just around the corner, and we're going to, basically discuss what games we like to play at this time of year. Me and Steve are trying to do a live stream a month, so this is the theme this time. So I think we're going to keep on going a bit, see what happens here. I've noticed as well on my computer that my settings have completely gone. It says 8 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because the clocks went back. Anyway, it's enough rambling from me. I'm going to introduce the first guest. So the first one in is Walking the Cow. How you doing?
I'm very good, yeah. Thank you for inviting me on tonight.
No worries, no worries. I'm just trying to get to grips with this live stream because it says live and it says like 1 hour, 2 minutes, but I'm pretty sure we haven't been live that long.
So no, were you fiddling around with it before you invited us at like 6:30?
Yeah, but that's still not an hour, so I don't understand it. But yeah, so welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. It's it's been a long time since I've done anything like this.
I know. You've got Big Jeffer in house. Evening, Big Jeffer. Thank you for joining us. So, Darren, obviously I've known you for quite some years now on YouTube. Probably got to know you for the Tubers High School Challenge, I think it's safe to say. And you've been a horror fan for quite some time, is that correct?
That's right, yeah. I started watching at a pretty young age. There were certain films that my parents had lying around that I were always forbidden to watch. There were only ever 2 of them. Yeah. But the other ones that didn't have as much sexual stuff in, I were kind of all right to watch.
I
started with Bram Stoker's Dracula and the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
I can imagine. I remember my parents not letting me watch X-Files when I was a kid. They had to watch the episode first to see if it was too scary or something. And if they thought, no, it's not suitable, they wouldn't let me watch it. But then if they thought it was. Right. So you is it safe to say you're more a fan of classic horror?
Yeah, I tend to prefer more classic stuff, but mainly stuff from between the 70s and the 80s. So about 1970 up until about 1990, but I like stuff after then as well, and I like stuff from before then. It's just the majority of what I know that I like just falls within those years. So
nice. Big Jeff is saying American Werewolf in London was his first horror when he was 10. Best one to start with. Do you know what? I've only seen bits and bobs of that. I haven't actually seen it proper. Have you seen it?
It's a very good film, yeah. A lot of people consider it the greatest werewolf film of all time, which it's one of them. It's not mine, but it's a really, really good one. It was one of my early films as well. It was one of the first 10 that I saw.
Nice. I've seen like Teen Wolf, and that's about it, probably werewolf wise. I don't know. I've never been big into werewolf films, I guess.
It's because there's not so many good ones. That's why.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so we do have another guest, so I'll bring him in now. It's Nathan's Gaming.
How you doing, Matt? How you doing, Darren?
Aye, not too
Hello,
bad,
mate.
thanks.
Thanks
How you
for
doing?
inviting me on this epic live stream. Nice one.
Yeah,
Nice
I
one.
think it's quiet at the moment, but hopefully it will build up as we go along. I'm still confused of my computer settings, so I hope it hasn't done anything weird to this live stream.
Well, it's coming to a screen, don't forget, the spooks are out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be something, yeah. Ghost in the Machine or something.
Oh.
Man. So
So-
Nathan, I got to know you through the Tubers High School Challenge as well, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we met
I think that's how I've met most people on YouTube.
some good times on there.
Yeah.
But it was just for fun, but now it's got a bit competitive, and I just play casually. I like playing for fun, really. I like playing for fun. So it's
Yeah,
got
no,
a
I
bit of fun for me.
totally understand that. I play for fun as well. So how long have you been a fan of horror for?
A fan? Ooh. Well, I remember when I was in old house and I was like 4 or 5 years old, and my dad used to let me watch snippets. And when Juffer said American Werewolf in London, I remember watching him. When he changes in living room when he's naked, and then he changes. And my dad showed me that when I was like 5 years old, and it terrified me. My mum would go mad if she knew. And then I'd get to watch like snippets of like Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
RoboCop at the beginning when he gets shot to death. I watched that before I went to school, primary school. And my mum, she'd gone mad. She would have gone mad. But yeah, I've always loved horror. I always loved it.
Yeah.
It scared me. That scared me. It's always stuck in my head, that naked, because like the naked man changing into a werewolf, and it was graphic. And I'll always remember that. But I've never seen full film. I'm gonna have to buy it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it now that everyone's mentioned it.
It does. Yeah, because it's an old one, I think, or it might not be that good. But Darren said it's probably the best werewolf film. So I'm gonna have to look into it.
It's considered one of the best. I'd put it in the top 5, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
It's like vampire movies. I'm not so keen on vampires and stuff like that, but Dracula, Bram Stoker's, I think that's brilliant.
Jeff is saying his dad burst into tears at the first bit in RoboCop when he was 10.
It does feel like, what happened there? What's going on? What? And it were graphic. It were.
It's the bit with the hands I didn't like the first time I saw it. See, it's weird. I don't really think of RoboCop as. Yeah, I don't really think of it as a horror film, even though it is. It's more horror than sci-fi, really. But it was, when they've got him pinned down and the blood, you see his hand explode.
Oh yeah,
I hated that bit. Really, really didn't like that bit. The bit with Ed 209.
Scary guy.
But
yeah, I can't. I have seen it, but I haven't seen it for that long. There's a lot of it I can't remember. So I'm basically, after this live stream tonight, I think I'm going to have a long list of these films to go back and watch or catch up on. Or it's crazy.
You wrote down. Have a notepad ready.
I should do. Got a pen. But I've got no paper, so that's how it goes. Darren, what I want to ask you first as well before we get into this, what was it like? What film or what experience was it that actually got you into horror?
Right, it would have been. So I'd seen RoboCop, and then I saw Bram Stoker's Dracula, Nightmare on Elm Street, and those are the earliest ones I can. Those were definitely the first 3 in whatever order. But it would have been when I watched the original Evil Dead. That would have been the one that, it kind of it ticked all the boxes. It was just so good. I'd never seen anything like it.
That was pretty good.
I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street is like a slasher, and Bram Stoker's Dracula is like a romance film. Evil Dead is just like, it was great. It were a great first video nasty for me to see as well. It just made, I loved it.
Nice. And Nathan, what were you?
Right. Well, the reason is where I weren't allowed to watch them, so it made me want to watch them. Because I remember people mocking me because I weren't allowed to watch Terminator because I was too young. I was like 15,
Wow.
And they wouldn't let me watch. My mum wouldn't let me watch Terminator, because it were an 18. But my dad, like I say, he showed me snippets. But I'd have to say because I'm not allowed. I weren't allowed to watch them, so I kind of sneaked them.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that. Do you know what? My reason's a lot lighter than you guys. Basically, my interest in horror was from like a kids' TV series, a very popular book series back then, Goosebumps. I just absolutely loved like everything about the episodes of the monsters, creepy dummies, stuff like that. So I think as I got a bit older, then I started watching these proper horror films and just loved them. The suspense. I always wanted to find out the mystery behind what was going on as well. If you got a haunted house, the legends, stuff like that. So yeah, oddly enough, it was the Goosebumps series that piqued my interest. A little bit of creepiness there for kids, and then as you get older, and then boom,
they were on, they were on were it BBC One or Channel 3? They were on like just after school, and some of them were really scary.
Yeah, I used to watch mine on Fox Kids.
Yeah, I watched Fox Kids before.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely were some creepy ones. I mean, it depends on what creeps you out. I mean, for me, it was the ventriloquist dummy that came alive.
Yeah, that ventriloquist one.
Happy. Yeah.
That was crazy, that.
Did you ever watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Did you ever see the episode? Did you ever see the episode with the clown and the kids are trapped in the house and they get a phone call and they answer it and it's the clown upstairs?
I think so, yeah. I've got the first series on DVD. But if it's on the first series, I think I've seen it.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because that were a pretty scary episode for a kids show.
We've got Golden Gamer Movies, Tony in the house. Evening. Hope you're okay. And we've got a question from Big Javette. Have you ever seen the black and white film Dead of Night?
No,
it's on my watch list.
It's got the spookiest ventriloquist dummy in it. I've not heard of that.
I'll have to look
at it. Something you know, surely.
Yeah, I know it looks really good. Yeah, I've still not seen it yet.
Let's have a look at that. No, I've definitely not seen that.
That's another one that I want to add to my list.
1945, well up your street, that, Darren.
Yeah, it is. It's on my watch list on IMDb, but some stuff stays on there for years before I either buy a copy or find a way to see it.
So, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. What we're going to do, we're going to show 3 horror games we like playing and 3 horror films we like watching each. We're going to take it in turns. So, you guys happy to get into it?
Yep.
Okay, do you want me to start? Okay, so for the first, I'm going to show a game first. This is quite a recent game, only a couple of years ago, I think. One of my favorite horror games is Until Dawn. I didn't hear much about this until I read it in a magazine, and then it came out like 2 months later, and I thought, well, I haven't heard that much about it. It might not be that good. But I bought it, and it blew me away. It was the idea that like all your characters could actually die, they could survive. But I thought it was such a great story in Until Dawn, and it's a nice twist, which I won't mention in case not everyone's played it. And yeah, really, really enjoyed this. I thought like the acting was spot on as well. There were some tense scenes. You did jump out of your skin quite a few times, and yeah, it was proper good. Did any of you know it?
No, is it an exclusive PlayStation 1?
Possibly, yeah. I'm not sure.
That's probably why I've not played it then, or I don't know of it. I've heard it mentioned around. I think you might have even mentioned it before.
I think I might have, yeah. But you've got quite a lot of famous actors in this as well. What's his name? Who played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody? He's in it. Rami Malek? I can't remember his name. But yeah, that is my first one. And it's to be honest as well, it's become one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4. So
I'll have to look at the trailer or some gameplay.
Yeah, have a look. It's definitely worth getting to. Like it's kind of like one of those games. It's not survival. It is survival horror, but it's like kind of point and click. You get to make your own choices, and obviously, if you make the wrong choices, then a character can pop their clogs, for example. But it was well executed, pun not intended. But yeah,
there's multiple endings, isn't there?
Sorry again.
Multiple endings.
Yeah, multiple endings. Yeah.
Yeah, different character.
It depends on who survives as well. There's currently a series out called Dark Pictures Anthology. Have you heard of Man of Medan? Or Man of Medan, sorry.
Heard of it, I don't know what it is.
It's basically a similar format to that, where like your characters can survive or die again. And this one's like about a haunted ship. And they've got another one coming out tomorrow called Little Hope, which seems to be some kind of satanic cult village. So that looks pretty cool. So guys, well, that's my first game. So I don't know if one of you want to go next. Darren, do you want to go next?
Yep, I'll go next. I'm going to go with a game that it came on a compilation, but I only really bought this for trials, but it came with Limbo, which I don't know if either of you played it.
I have played Limbo, yeah.
It's the one where you're well, it's really dark, so I don't think I could really get any decent screenshots, but you see there at the top? It's the one that's all black and white and done in the style of like old silent films. And you never really know what's going on with it. I think there's a load of theories that you're basically playing as a kid that may be stuck in limbo, you know, between like life and death kind of. But it's a really good game, and there's a few of my friends who don't play video games at all. I once sat them down to play it, and all I said is like, look, you go left, you go right, you can jump, and you can grab things. And then my friend was like, well, what do you do? What do you do? I'm like, just sit and play it, and you'll just figure everything out. It's really like beginner friendly. And so, yeah, I think if two people that don't play video games can enjoy it, and one of them now says it's one of his favorite games, even though he doesn't play games. It's a really good game. I think most people know it, though. It's excellent.
I was just about to ask, sorry to interrupt you, is there a spider in there? And Big Jeff has commented, best spider in the video game goes to Limbo. That's the bit I remember the most about that game as well.
That's mainly why I made those two people play it, so that because it kind of makes you jump, you don't like see it coming.
Yeah. Right, Nathan, do you want to go for your first video game?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for. Well, it's my best game ever, and that's Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. I knew that was going to come out.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I used to watch all stuff like Games World and Games Master, and I was glued to it on TV. And I think it was Saturday morning, I was watching Games Master, and I put the clip on my channel where it talks about Resident Evil for PlayStation, and that it's going to be banned soon. You know, it won't even get released. And as soon as I heard that this game is going to get banned, I want it, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, 2 words, banned, and horror game. I had to get it. And I just love it. Even to this day, I'm still playing it this day. You know, I did a live stream on it last other week. And I love the music, you know, the graphics, the sounds. It's just exactly everything that I want in a game. Zombies, blood, atmospheric, excellent story, brilliant characters. Yeah, I just love my horror games. I love them.
Have you finished Resident Evil?
Yeah, I've completed all of them.
Yeah, because
my favourites are 1 to 3. Well, and Code Veronica, I love that as well.
That was good.
And, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they went in more into like biological weapons, and there were no zombies. It were the zombies that I liked. You know, the slowness and the creepiness and blowing their heads off. And when they got into the bio weapons and like all these worms and things are sprouting out and weird. I mean, the monkeys were all right in Zero. So yeah, Resident Evil 0, I completed that one as well. Yeah, I've got them all. So I got them all for the story. You know,
what was it called? After the zombies, what were they called in Resident Evil 4? I can't remember the term.
They were them like the village ones, weren't they? Like,
yeah,
like in France. And
they were called when they had a certain name or something.
I don't know. Like I said, they were more the biological weapons. They weren't zombies. Now, they were zombified, you know, but they weren't like proper zombies like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. They were definitely the classic ones.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the remakes, but still I prefer the originals. You know.
I remember the first time I played that game was over my mate's house, and I borrowed it off him, and I could never complete it. I always got like towards like the end, but I could never complete it. I think it's like I love survival horror games. I love Resident Evil, but what puts me off as well, I know this is part of the challenge. I hate having limited inventory and limited bullets. I always get too tense and too nervous. I'm like, no. Like I've wasted too many bullets in that one zombie. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it can be intimidating.
I know, but it's great games. I agree with you on that one. Darren, Resident Evil?
You can get packs to add an extra 2 or 3 slots, but you've got to find them. You've got to find them.
I want unlimited.
Yeah, right. But yeah, like I said, Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, and 7, they weren't really for me. Like I've got them, I've completed them, played them all, got through for the story. That's all I did for the story. But my go-tos are 1, 2, and 3. That's it. They're Resident Evil to me.
Darren, Resident Evil fan?
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine, I think his dad borrowed it from somebody, and the idea was that if my friend liked it, his dad would buy him it. And he told me about it at school one day. We were still in primary school. And I remember rushing back to his to play it for the first time, and it were amazing. I mean, for us at that point in the 90s, there weren't many zombie games, or at least none that, reminded of us like Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. And so it was just amazing. It was a really good horror game as well. But the zombies were just, it was something that were like needed at that time, I think. A good zombie game. Not like now.
Yeah, there was something that wasn't on the market. Also, when Resident Evil came out, it was something I was not familiar with at all. It's like a first kind of experience of that kind of game for me. So that's why I loved it. It's good stuff. Yeah. Good
when
stuff.
I saw Games Master, it was like I just fell out of a dream. When I seen that, I thought this is perfect. That looks brilliant. And I think I paid like £45 for it second hand, and that were for Christmas, because I got my Christmas money off my nan. So it was 20 quid I got off her. I already have 20 quid off my mum, and I think I put a £5 to it. Well, 45 quid second hand, and it was like 3 days before Christmas, because they just sold out everywhere. Nobody had it in except for this second hand game shop. So I did get a copy. It were a good copy as well. So I reckon that. How you doing, Steve?
Steve has popped up this evening, guys. Only popping into a quick hi. Have a great evening watching Twas. Cheers, Steve. I still think you should have chosen us over your missus. Don't tell her that, but
she'll be watching.
Yeah, she's probably cursing me right now, actually. But cheers for stopping by, Steve. If you do have a chance, give us a call. Shout. Okay, Resident Evil, definitely one of the all-time classics. Should we go on to first film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, then. So, Darren, you obviously know I was going to pick this one. So, one of my favorite ever horror films is one that is quite recent, a few years ago now, and that is It. Absolutely love this film. It's a bit. When I was a teenager, I'm looking up there because I've got the novel on my bookshelf. It was the first Stephen King novel I ever read, and it was still now one of my favorite ever books. It's the first book to ever freak me out. I think it was a line when they said there was a clown standing in the storm drain. I was like, what? And the way Stephen King wrote the book, I absolutely loved it. I saw the old movie, which was okay, never my favorite. But then when they remade it, I went in not expecting a lot, but the acting in this, how creepy Pennywise is, absolutely loved it. Not so fussed on the second chapter, even though it's still good, but it's chapter 1. If you haven't watched it, guys, definitely recommend it. Pun not intended again. But yeah, I think the actors in this, the kids portraying like the young adults like back then, did an awesome job. And I think in the first chapter, they did such a great job that it was difficult then for the actors in chapter 2 to come in and live up to that. But I still think they did a great job there. Yeah, but it's just the whole story about Pennywise and how he plays on people's fears. And I think a lot of people are not, are kind of scared of clowns. I think that's like kind of one of the biggest main fears people have. And yeah, red balloons, everything. And I've read stories as well about when this came out in the cinema. Someone dressed up as Pennywise and just had a red balloon in the front row, and he like freaked people out, and I thought, yeah. So it is my first choice in my film. Guys, you seen it?
I've still yet to see the remake. Is it remake, reboot? I don't know how you want to call it.
You got to do it.
It's funny that everybody says the same thing about the reboot as they do about the original. They all prefer the bit when they're kids. And it's true for me. With the original everybody says that they prefer the part with the kids, the first half.
Yeah.
And people are saying it again with the remake, so it's weird how it carries through to the, just the idea of the story. People
maybe it's because we can all relate more, because like when you're a child, you've got such a overactive imagination, and you go on all these adventures with your mates, you have all these experiences, and then to have that evil there, as well, playing on you, I just think it's awesome. So we have got Dav Priest in the house as well. We're all doing well, Dav. Hope you're okay. And we've also got Gul Payne. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
How you doing, Gul?
So Nathan, right. You seen it?
I'm gonna go for this one. This is a hidden gem. It's called Colobus.
Oh, what is that?
This is messed up. It's a messed up film. It's pretty graphic as well. Right. It's like this person puts an ad in a paper, and it's like a Big Brother set up in this Big Brother house, and there's cameras everywhere, but it's snuff. It's private, and there's some really graphic stuff in this. And I remember watching it once. Well, my mate who showed it me, he said they watched it with this girl, and in the shower scene, this guy gets locked into the shower, and the glass thing's shut, and it starts showering him, but it's acid, and it's melting him, and he's screaming and crying, and then he gets dragged out, and his face gets smashed against the sinking corner, and it shows it go right into his face. And because the acting is that good, she started crying. Like, you could feel his pain. This man was screaming, like a man was screaming because they were being burnt with acid. It's a sick film. It's good. It's a good one, though.
Just looking at the cover there, that looks pretty freaky. Just looking at that DVD cover, that face at the top is a bit. So, what year was that released?
Let me see. 1999.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
It's like a Big Brother house. They all think it's fun and games, and when they can't get out this house, they try getting through a roof, they try getting through walls. Everything's just locked down. They cannot get out. Wow. It's good. There's a good twist on it as well, right at the end.
I like a good twist.
Definitely Juffer. Definitely one for family. Just don't show it your 10-year-olds though.
So Darren, what have you got for your first film?
I'll go with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yes.
It's really, considering what it's called, it's not nearly as bad as it sounds once you actually see it. But yeah, it's still one of those that I went after early on, while I was still practically a kid, and yeah, it was kind of on my list for ages, and I just hoped I could get a copy. And then when I finally did, I couldn't believe it. It were another Evil Dead moment. Really, It's just it's still a good, powerful film to this day as well.
I think I've got the original on DVD. Well, I had it on DVD, and I think I've sold it. What I did as a teenager, I was like, when I was really into horror, 75% of my DVD collection was all horror films. But I started selling them off as I grew older a bit. So I don't know why, to be honest, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was definitely in there. Guys, if you just joined us, we're talking about our favorite horror films and horror games. So far, we've talked about It, Until Dawn on PS4, Resident Evil, Limbo, and Colobus. What's it called? Colobus?
Yeah, Colobus.
You got good memory.
Yeah, you have. It's an hard one to remember that. It is.
Yeah. Plenty of practice. I like memory games. Oh, here we go. Dav Priest is saying Wreck is a hidden gem too.
Yeah, that's good. See, they released that in America. Well, America re-released it again and just ruined it, and they called it Quarantine.
Oh, did they?
It's the same film. mean, The Wreck it's based in France. It's a French film with subtitles.
Is it
But
on
you-
Netflix? Because I'm sure I've seen it advertised somewhere, but I've never seen it.
Could be, but you can have the English dub,
Right.
you know. But there is Wreck and Wreck 2. I've got them both there somewhere. I only watched them the other week as well.
Big
Right.
Juffer agrees.
Yeah, they're down there. Wreck 1 and 2. The French, they're brilliant. The foreign ones usually are. Yeah, Quarantine. It were all right, but not as good as Wreck. It's Spanish. Right. I thought it was French.
Don't know. I have to look into it. I haven't got a clue. I thought it was American.
I
Quarantine.
remember my old housemate ordered it out of a magazine somewhere, the original Wreck. I remember him showing me it.
I'm going to have an awful long list after tonight of these things to watch and play. Anyone heard of Train to Busan?
Yeah,
there you go.
everybody's recommending that. I think it's just got a sequel as well this year or earlier this year.
I've never heard of it. Yeah,
It's
Girl
a-
Pick.
Foreign zombie film, I think. Is it Korean or Chinese or something? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Girls confirming the second one is due out soon.
Yeah, I think it's Spanish, and that's Wreck 2.
Ah, right.
Yeah, it says Spanish on back.
Pan's Labyrinth. Has anyone seen that?
Yeah,
Which is that one?
I have watched that. I think that's pretty good.
with a weird thing with the eyes on its hand and all that.
Yeah, the guy that's looking.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, you said that. That's get back to me. It's great stuff. I'm going on to my next game now, aren't I?
Yeah,
So
I think
basically, we're doing film a game. Okay, so this is in kind of honor of Steve, who can't join us at the moment because it's an anniversary for anyone watching. And that is one of his favorite games and one of mine, Dead Space. Absolutely love this. This is kind of the answer to Resident Evil in a way, set in space. Oh man, I have never been so tense playing a game than I have playing Dead Space. I think what it was with this game, first of all, the gameplay is awesome. I love the plasma cutter, the stasis things, kinetics you can use, and they call the necromorphs, the aliens and that, and you can like shoot the limbs off.
in Dead Space, yeah.
Yeah, but the tension this game created, I remember this going down like a corridor in a spaceship, and then a pipe would suddenly like hiss. You jump a bloody mile, and like I don't tend to play a lot of games in the dark, so this one I'm sorry I had to let on. And I remember sometimes you see a dead necromorph lying on the floor. You think, oh, that's fine. You walk towards it, suddenly it darts up and runs after you, and it's like, holy moly! But yeah. Dead Space. They made an anime on it as well. Nathan, you probably know that.
Yeah, I've got that. Good.
I
It's
got it
good.
up there for-
And you as well, Darren. Yeah, great. Here you go. Some people are saying Dead Space is awesome.
Yeah, it's down the
Totally
bottom.
agree. The second one was quite good as well.
Yeah.
The third one I think was a bit action orientated, but I never played it. Hereditary. That's another I've never seen.
Yeah, that's a very good film. If watch that one in the dark the first
I don't
time.
think it's Hereditary.
Yeah, I think it were last year. I started feeling a bit guilty about not watching a lot of modern horror stuff, because everybody always goes on about old's better, and I used to be like that. But yeah, it was one of those that people recommended, and I'm glad I bought it because it were really good. The guy that directed it did something else that I liked as well. I can't remember what he did, but yeah, Hereditary is going to be one of those. It's like a modern classic. Like people loved it.
I've got to watch that. Have any of you played Dead Space 3?
Yeah, I've got
been
them all.
talked out of it. I've been talked out of it by everybody.
Yeah. What Nathan? What's it like compared to 1 and 2?
Not as good. First one's the best one. First one is the best one, but 2 is good. But 3 is good. But it's worth a play. And there's also DLC that I got off the internet, off PlayStation Network. But that were pretty poor. But it's worth a game. It's worth a play. It's worth it, But it's not something to go mad about.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Jeffer. See you again.
Yeah, first one I'd say
Yeah,
is
thanks
best.
for mentioning the what is it? The puppet film, the one with the creepy doll. Because I'm going to go look that up later and think about adding it. Think about picking it up.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Something of death or death of something.
I have to confirm. I have to go watch his back, I think. I know I should be making a list as we go along. Dead Space is a great game. Lucas Rainford went through it 3 times. That's dedication for you. Okay, Darren, do you want to go on to your next game?
Yeah, I wanted to go with Silent Hill, but I don't own a copy anymore. And I wanted to go with Dead Space, but my copy's digital, so and you went with Dead Space. So
you can still talk about those if you want to.
No, I grabbed this off the shelf. It's a Gears of War, the Ultimate Edition. I never really liked Gears of War when it first started. It was just something me and a friend used to play after the pub, multiplayer, just, like sat on a couch, sharing the same TV and stuff. When the second one came out, I went and bought it new, and I loved it. I really got into it, and yeah, it's a series that I just like a lot. Apart from the 4th game, Judgment, whatever it's called, don't play that. But yeah, they're all pretty solid. They're all really, really good games, and they give it a nice little polish when they did the Ultimate Edition as well. It's still cheeky releasing a game from last generation on the next one and just polishing it a bit, but I don't know, it's a popular game, so I can see why they did it.
That's one series I've never played because I don't have an Xbox, obviously, but
yeah.
You find that what kind of game is it? It's like action orientated. It's like kind of like Call of Duty thing, or any horror elements.
It's a kind of over-the-shoulder, third-person cover shooter game. The majority of the game, you're not just stood there shooting. You're like crouched behind things, and it's all about how you navigate around the different like short levels. And yeah, it's a lot of fun playing it multiplayer. Whether it's co-op or playing it online, just through the main story. It's just really good, yeah. A lot of cover in there, a lot of hiding behind things. And
it's got some good visuals on Gears of War.
Yeah, the Locust.
It's like, it's meaty, you're in it.
He doesn't like Judgment either.
It's a good game. I played the second one first, but it is good.
I think I played the campaign to the second game. That was the first campaign I ever played. I never played the first campaign properly. It were always just my friend killing me basically for half an hour.
Yeah.
Good game. Good series.
Okay, Nathan, do you want to go on to your next game?
Right. I'm going to go...
Is it Resident Evil 2?
No, I were going to do that, but no. It's The Suffering.
Ah.
They've made a sequel as well called The Suffering Ties That Bind. I've not played it for years, but it's really violent. It's a brilliant atmosphere. I'm just going to read the back of it because I can't really tell you much about it. I've played it through, but I was still living at my mum's then. I was quite young, so I forgot a lot about it. But I remember it. This I think it was the second one. There was this like big guy with a baby mask, and he'd call you like a cunt and all this stuff because he's in your mind. And then he says something like, "Blood is the best lubricant." I'm like, that's a bit fucking gruesome, man, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, this is pretty sick. It's a good game, though. Experience the terror as you fight your way out of a maximum security penitentiary, overrun with ghastly creatures. Your desperate bid to escape this horrific prison and the island that surrounds it is only the beginning as you learn the truth behind the suffering. Yeah, it's good. You can change into a beast as well. Like you get, I think you get possessed by a demon. You start off in jail, and you break out, and then all guards are going mad, and then all demons come out and they're just slicing them up. And they're like, you remember them wheelies on Oz? Is it Return to Oz? And you've got them wheelies, and they're to death. But they've got like swords as hands and feet, and they're blind, and they're creepy, man.
That sounds.
It's a good game. It's suffering.
I've only played a little bit of the first one, but the second one is one of the few games that actually did scare me.
Yeah.
But it's got that guy who sets his dogs on you, I think.
I can't remember.
And when you start taking out, is this like enemy that's like a possessed dog or a demon dog? And when you're shooting it, he's shouting something in the background like, "You take pleasure in killing my hounds." But it starts off where they come after his wife, don't they? The second one. When he's in prison.
Yeah, his wife's involved, and he apparently killed his wife and child, and it shows him like what he did to him, when he's going through it, and he's getting flashbacks.
Crazy.
Really good. It came in with one of my old PS2s. It's the only reason I even knew it existed.
Yeah. See,
I've heard of it, I've never played it.
I just wanted horror, anything horror games. Because like when I was like, well, I think I was 16, 17, and I used to go to a video shop in town, and he knew I were underage, but he used to let me buy like Dawn of the Dead, Scanners, old horror movies on VHS for a £5. Because they were proper they were a proper video shop with records and T-shirts and CDs. But I don't think he was making much money. But when I went in, I was spending like 30 quid at a time. And he'd put them in this bag for me, and he'd give them me, But I knew he knew that I were underage, but he had to make his money somehow.
Yeah, but true.
To sneak them, my mum wouldn't allow it.
Before we go on, I got a question for you both. I don't know how to ask this. Do you prefer, or what scares you the most, like jump out of your, skin horror, so jump frights, or like psychological horror? Darren, you want to go first?
Easily the psychological stuff. I've never been scared by Freddy or Jason or Leatherface or Ghostface in Scream or any of those. But the only film that ever really terrified me, like really, really terrified me, it's a silly one because most people think it's a crap film to begin with, but I got in to see it at the cinema underage, and it was the Blair Witch Project, and that scared the hell out of me. And as you know, that film is a lot of not seeing anything and a lot of just wondering what the hell's going on. And so, yeah, either stuff like that or when you get a decent haunted house film, not a cheesy one where somebody's going, ooh, but I mean, something like maybe the Amityville remake and the original stuff. Just not Ghost, basically, the Ghost.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze.
That's not scary, is it? It's a good film. It's just not
when them demons were coming out, when they died, that were freaky, that.
That's the bit I like. That's my favourite bit, isn't it?
I remember watching that when I was really young, of course.
You got the little pointed ears.
Yeah, but when he gets that glass and it sticks into him at end, and then all demons come out at shadows and then they take him away, that scared me. That was pretty freaky, that.
Joe, that's another one I haven't seen.
Well, man,
list is getting longer.
On my train. And you start sitting on. This is the ghost, aren't
they? There's that cat to scratch that guy.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. It is. It's worth a watch.
Yeah. Speaking about the Blair Witch Project, I watched that with my friends when I was a kid, and that freaked me out as well because it seems so real as well. Because it's all like found camera footage, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm going to highlight that comment just now. Actually, Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I'm not good at that, but Nathan, I'm guessing that's one of yours coming up.
It is.
Right, so Nathan, for you, then is it like jump scares or psychological horror?
I like both. I do. I like both. I really do. I can't put one on the like Resident Evil. That's more. There's a lot of jump scares in that. And one of my worst fears is like deep water and nuclear war. They're the only two things that I'm kind of scared of, because you don't know what's underneath you when you're in swimming, shark.
Yeah, that is, I agree with you there. That is really freaky. It's like, is there a shark underneath you? I remember I was in Ibiza a couple of years ago and I was walking out on this pier. It was a rainy day. So like most of the people at the hotel had left the beach and just gone into to do activities inside. But I decided to walk down the beach, like walk along the pier, and because it's a bit stormy and the waves are coming up, and then I kept looking down and saying, "Oh my gosh, what if a shark comes beneath me?" And I was like, "Let's go back." I've actually recorded a video as well on YouTube. So.
Things that kind of scare me, like properly. But I'd have to go. If it were anything, I'd have to go for psychological, like PT. That plays on you. That's jump scary and psychological. So that's a both. I love that game, and that does scare you, and it can be any given time. So it is jump. Scary and psychologically because you're locked in that house, you can't get out. Well, I can't get out even today, even with watching everything on YouTube, I still can't do it. And it does both for me, does PT. But I do like my jump scares. But with a psychological, you're more into an RPG realm. There's more to it. There's more story, more depth. So you get a really good chunk of a game. I like that.
I just highlighted here Gil's saying 80s horror is the best. So I want to ask you both, what's your favorite era for horror films?
I like 1970s, mainly Italian stuff. Fulci, Argento, Deodato. Well, we're talking about Cannibal Holocaust, so there's a good example. Yeah, mostly 70s and mostly 70s, 80s, I'd say.
What would I go for? See, I like the original Dawn of the Dead. Without 1960s, that's late 60s.
I think so.
Freaks, which
Night of the Living Dead was 60s, yeah.
Freaks, that were a good one, a black and white. That's a good movie. That it's a really good.
One of the greatest films ever made. Birdroom knows all about Freaks. He's seen it.
I can't put it on an era because I like all of them. I like every one of them, all from all eras.
To be honest, I couldn't pick an era either. I mean, like if it's like films in general, then 80s is definitely one of the best eras in my opinion. But horror films, I don't know. Has anyone seen Layers of Fear?
Yeah, I bought it from America, and when it got here, there were no frigging DVD in it.
Oh, got it.
I don't know how that happens because it were a sealed DVD, so...
Maybe it's
I have got Demons 1 and 2, though, so they're great. That soundtrack to that first one is fantastic. Really, really good films, those two.
Yeah, another couple I've not seen there. It's going to be a long Halloween, this is, trying to catch up on all these films and games that we've never played.
On eBay looking at these prices, Demons 1 and 2. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good, really good. Some of the special effects are a bit funny, a bit cheesy, but yeah, it's got a real good soundtrack as well.
See, that's why I like DVD. Like for the older movies, I've got a lot of like I said, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, but they're on DVD. But they're getting re-released onto Blu-ray, and a lot of people are jumping to Blu-ray. I mean, yeah, it's a better picture, but the DVD gives it more of a grittiness, and you don't get to see all the like strings and stuff that, if you know, for the effects.
Yeah.
See the CGI, and it really pops out. And you think that's really bad CGI, unless it's Star Wars, on Blu-ray. But that's why I always go for DVD, because it's kind of in between. It's not too sharp. It's not too in your face, and you see all effects, how they're doing it. It's gritty. It's there. You get, and that's why I like DVD.
To be fair, that's a good point. That is a good point.
But I mean, for Star Wars or anything decent like that, I mean, CGI is belting. So Blu-ray, I've got all my Star Wars on Blu-ray, but I've got the originals on DVD. But the new ones I've got on Blu-ray, and they look magnificent. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I said, if CGI is done well, it looks good on Blu-ray. But my oldest stuff, I mean, even Walking Dead, I had them on Blu-ray. I got the first season on Blu-ray, and I was watching it, and when they were getting shot in the face and not zombies, you could see the CGI blood and the CGI stuff, and I thought, this is really bad. It put me off watching it. So I went down, got the DVD, and you can't tell that it's CGI because it's better for me, I think.
I've never really thought about that before, but I think that's a really good point.
But it's same with Evil Speak. I loved that when I was younger. My dad had it on VHS, but I ended up watching that because it had the pentagram in it and Satanism and witchcraft. So I got that on Blu-ray, and I thought, this is going to be brilliant. That's how I remember watching it. And it showed all strings, on Blu-ray. And I'm like, this is really, why? Can you, we're in year 2000, can you not like rub them out? So I'm going to swap it with Aaron for his DVD.
Yeah, I'm up for that. I didn't love Evil Speak, but it's one of the nastiest, so it needs to be in my collection. I've just got it on DVD, they're not Blu-ray.
But the older ones, I'd prefer DVD, definitely. Right, here we go, Demons. There's one on for here, but they're on a bidding. I'm going to have to watch that.
Going back to what we were saying about jump scares and psychological horror, has anybody watching as well, Rule of Rose?
I downloaded it. I played a little bit of it. It does look good. It
It
sounds like one of those.
As hell. It's the first game that, it affected me that much playing that game that I sold it after finishing it. I can't remember now exactly what it was because I blocked a lot of it out, but it wasn't like a jump scare. There's just a lot of freaky stuff in there. I think it was like set in an orphanage or something. You had the caretaker pretending he was a dog walking around on all fours. There was this guy like reading out a poem about like a pea in a bed. That Princess and the Pea story. but in such a freaky tone and way, it freaked me completely out. And I think it's quite expensive game now, but I bought it quite cheap, just a disc version. And I wish I kept it now because I think I could have made quite a bit of money on it. I think I made money on it when I sold it. But yeah, if anyone's played that, let me know. Oh, and that's it as well. But like creepy kids like pulling off like wings on a dragonfly and stuff. Unless I'm getting confused with another game there, but
shows that in God Veronica with and they get eaten by ants.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it's in this one as well. But
I'm just thinking about that bit on Devilman Crybaby. You know where is it Rio's killing someone at the beginning? I'm sure he pulls wings of insects and stuff like that.
I'll have to watch it again.
Tony's saying he loves jump scares as to the film.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Big Mama's house.
Pressure as well.
I remember seeing Big Mama's house at the cinema. I felt like a right idiot jumping at that.
Was that Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I don't even know why I went to go see it. It must have been some friends I went with once. I don't know.
Man. I remember seeing Paranormal Activity 2 in the cinema. And I knew what the first film was like, so I knew what to expect in the second film. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was so tense. I don't want to jump in and like embarrass myself in front of everybody else. that was interesting to watch. Right, so gone off topic. Well, we haven't gone off topic, but we haven't shown anything for a while. So I think it's my turn to go on to my next film.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so for this one, I'm going for Children of the Corn. So that looks a bit weird. It's just because it's got like a 3D cover. So it's another Stephen King book. Yeah, see, they go in the cipher in. That's quite cool. Well, that's that effect.
I like that.
Yeah. So this one's basically.
Is that the one with the sequels in as well?
Yeah. So on the back, you've got the first 3 films.
Yeah.
Children of the Corn 1 to 3. He who walks behind the rose. Yeah. I don't know. It's just something I really wanted to watch, and I picked it up. Really enjoyed it. The films coming after this, they're not the best, but I think the first one's the best. Isaac, I think, was one of the main villains, and someone called Malachi. And
is that the one with the blonde-haired kids?
No, it's Village of the Damned, I think you're thinking of.
They're like freaky kids, and they're all like twins with white eyes.
No, not right.
Village of the Damned.
All right.
I think this is one where like all the kids turn against the adults basically, and they're all in the cornfields and worshiping this god who walks behind the rose kind of thing. I have to watch it again. It's been a while, but yeah, that was one I really enjoyed. I think there was 6 films when I first discovered the series. I think there's a couple more have been released now the last couple of years, but I haven't seen them yet. And I think there was like a remake as well, but I haven't seen that. But yeah, back in the day, I used to love watching this. And actually, this weekend I might watch it again, so who knows? But yeah, another Stephen King one. As you can see, I'm a bit of a Stephen King fan. Talked about It earlier, and yeah.
It. I'm gonna have to watch that new one.
Trust me, it's good. Fun again, not intended. Right, Darren, do you want to go on to yours?
Is it a film or a game? I can't remember.
Go for a film now. I think it is.
Film.
If I've got the thing mixed up, I apologize.
No, it's me. I'm just getting confused. Right, so second film, I'm going to go with Last House on the Left. This was the first film to come from Wes Craven, who went on to do Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, The Hills of Eyes. And yeah, it's just for somebody's first ever film, and from somebody that had a really strict Catholic upbringing and never really saw any films until they were a teenager. It's a really, really, really extreme film, especially for the 70s, the early 70s. I think this was 72 or 74 or 73. One of those.
Is it that where it says it's only a film? It's only a film. It's only a film.
It's one of those where a ton of different films wanted to call themselves Last House this, and they all wanted to use the just repeat to yourself, it's only a film, it's only a film. Yeah, it's a brilliant film. I got the soundtrack on record as well. It's just really good. It's hard to talk about without spoiling it, but these psychopaths who've escaped from prison, there's about 4 of them. They kidnap these two girls. They're on the way to a rock festival, and they do like horrible things. And then the killers end up finding a house to stay in with this old couple because they're kind of stranded and they're on the run from the police straight away. And it just turns out that the people that they're staying with are the parents of one of the kids that they killed. And so they kind of realize halfway through, the parents figure out during the night that one of them were wearing one of the necklaces. And one of the killers figures out when they see a photograph. And so it's a really, really good film. It's a rip-off as well, sadly. Completely ripped off from an earlier film called Virgin Spring. But yeah, it's really extreme for an early 70s film. Really good. And
hard to watch. It's not a nice movie. It's a bit like Entity, but without ghosts.
Like Last House on Earth is one film I've heard of a lot of again, but I still haven't seen it.
What, Entity?
No, The Last House on the Left.
All right. Entity.
You'd be way better off watching Last House than you would watching Cannibal Holocaust. I don't think you'd like that at all.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not just saying it because of the animal bits either. There's,
They really did kill animals, didn't they, in that? The turtle, that were really butchered. But it's been...
Well, they ate everything that they killed. That was the point of it. But even the spider.
Did they kill that as well? It was on a shoulder, weren't it?
Yeah, don't they stab it with a knife?
Yeah, machete. It's like a lost footage.
Is that like a tarantula or something?
It's a lost footage film. It's probably one of the first ones, isn't it? Because they
coming up soon, isn't it?
And then they find the film because they go to a village, don't they? Get it? Because they've like put it into like an altar and all that, it tapes, and then they go home, watch them, realize what they did. It's a good movie. And the people that made it, they were investigated to make sure that the actors weren't dead.
Yeah, it fired back on Deodato when they finished filming it. He asked the main actress as an actress. He said, "Go and take like an extended holiday, go missing for a while." And then the police or the FBI or whoever wanted to question Deodato, and they said, "Well, if you didn't kill him, then where are they?" He's ringing everybody he can to try and get hold of them.
Bloody hell. Sounds crazy. So, Nathan, the next film you were going to talk about?
Ooh, a bit of a controversial one. Well, I've got two controversial films, but this one, I don't think you've ever heard of this one. This is called Flowers of Flesh and Blood. It's a Japanese...
It's the best one out of the series, I think. Guinea Pig
Productions. It's about a woman. She gets kidnapped, and then she gets decapitated. Yeah, nice. It's a sick film. Apparently, what's he called now? He played in Charlie Sheen. He got a copy of it on VHS, and he thought it were real, so he sent a copy to FBI, and they wanted to investigate it, make sure that it weren't real. So they went into Japan apparently, and then they got in with the director and showed them all how they did it, and it does show you how they did it in that movie. But on VHS, say it's been pirated, when you record them and it's really, really bad copy, that would look real. But yeah, she gets decapitated, and and it's right close up as well, and he gets his knife, sticks it in her wrist, and it shows it all blood, and then her hand like closes like that. And they did it with syringes and air, with a latex hand. It's
I can imagine
really early kind of
that film. Was it banned in some countries?
Oh yeah, of course it were. Yeah, Flowers of Flesh and Blood. Guinea Pig Productions. I don't know what year it were out. It's only Japanese.
Yeah. I've just highlighted Tony's commentary. I think he's threatening me. Final Destination, another classic horror movie franchise. It is a classic. So many sequels as death is after you, so watch out, Matt. Yeah.
Final Destination 1 was really good. I thought that were so original when they're on plane at the beginning, and then it went straight back to him getting on the plane. I thought that was brilliant, that.
I loved it at the airport, that bit, in the first one.
It was really good, that.
And Tony, just let you know, 1T in Matt, please. 1T. That's my nickname.
1T, flipping heck, I knew that like 5 years ago. 1T. Even
I
Tony...
write people on Facebook all the time and throughout the years.
Yeah, but
I'm on Matthew Wanty.
I remember Tony calling you Wanty. He used to call you Matt Wanty.
Oh,
I'm sure he didn't say that. Or were it Pete? It could have been Pete that used to say Wanty.
Yeah, Pete calls me Wanty.
Yeah, I think it could
Quite a
be.
few people do. A lot of people call me Matt Man. No one calls me the Boom Guy, so that's good.
Boom guy.
No problem, Tony. All good. All good. We've got someone called Delta Ray Studios 2 in the house. Thank you for joining us. We're all doing good. All probably a bit freaked out as well, talking about these movies and scary games. Let us know in the comments, guys. You already have, but some of your favorites. Is it my turn to go now, is it?
Yep. I think it's a game next.
Yeah, we're back to games now.
I haven't got another physical game, but I wanted to talk about a game called... Now, this is not a horror. It's an action shooter game called Max Payne. But if you ever played the first one, basically the story of Max Payne, he goes through this tragedy, and then on certain levels, like every 3 or 4 levels at the end of a chapter, you kind of play through his nightmare. And in these... all right, what's he got there?
PS4 controller for Dave. He said it's doing his head in. I'll turn it off for Dave.
In this game, you play through Max's nightmare, and you go for like a trail of blood across the floor, and you can like hear a baby crying and like scenes from the house and the tragedy that happened. It's really freaky, and I did not like it at all. But pretty creepy, pretty scary that one to go through, but pretty creative as well and unique to play. So have you guys played that?
It's another one that I've just never heard of. I'm funny with horror games, though. As much as I love horror films, horror games, some of them are a bit shit. Like
it's more of an action shoot 'em up kind of thing, but you do have that level where you're playing for that nightmare, and it's just... Nathan, what about you? Have you heard of it?
Max Payne, the movie, it's a good movie.
As the game, the first game on
All right, yeah,
PlayStation.
on PS. I think I've got Max Payne. Is it not on PS2? First one.
I think it is PlayStation 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that red trail of blood in that black, very dark area, and you can hear that baby crying.
Yeah, that's the one. That was quite freaky.
Yeah, but the movie. I thought we were on about movie for some reason. I thought Dave were on about that we're doing his head in, but I think it was that he were trying to think of what game it were, what we're doing his head in. Yeah, it was EX on PS4.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Max Payne freaky.
Yeah, good games. I've not played.
I was in behind you. What's going on there?
I'll try and do it slowly so that you can. I'm not trying to freak you out.
I was watching that, then I was like, "Oh gosh, something behind you."
Yeah, no, it's messing my camera up, so I'll just go like that again.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want about Dav. The baby crying. You got I think it's a trail of blood. I mean, it's been years since I played it, but they were really freaky to play back in the day at those levels. Okay, Darren, your next game.
All right, this is probably my favorite horror game, even though I've only played it through the once. And I can't really say a lot about it because it's going up tomorrow on my channel, like the first hour or so. But yeah, it's really, really good. It's one of my favorite games as well now, I think. I played it last year for the first time, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to like it. And I think, like, after 20 minutes or so, it just grips you. It's so good. And you can tell that they just loved Stephen King, Twin Peaks and stuff like that. It's really obvious. Yeah, if you want to see that, you have to see it tomorrow on my channel.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Alan Wake.
Yeah, everybody, if you're not subscribed to Walking the Cow, go and do that now and look out for that game tomorrow. The game I've heard of, but I haven't played yet again. So
yeah, I think I've got it in my wish list on Steam.
I nearly just didn't get it. I don't know why I ended up getting it in the end. I just thought, well, it's cheap. I'll give it a go. And it was just amazing. Worth every penny.
Yeah, it's also free on Game Pass if anybody wants to play it.
What were that you had there, Darren? Were it the DVD or the game?
I've got it digital on Steam, but this is a 360
All
version.
All right. So it's on 360 then. I will
Yeah,
look
it's
at
just so good.
I thought he were hurt, but he's not.
Okay, Nave, do you want to go for your final game?
Yeah.
I think we're on the final game. Ooh, I was waiting for that. I need to pick that myself.
This is the PS4 version. I'll put the disc in tissue because I don't like these. I don't like them kind of disc things. It feels like you're going to snap the disc. There's some of them, DVDs and cases. I could design a better case. You know what I mean? But yeah, Doom for PS4. So it'd be more like, I don't know, Doom 4 maybe. But PS4. But yeah, I thought these were brilliant. See, I like Doom, but Doom Eternal, they've just gone like Call of Duty, like triple jumping and super fast dashes, and I just couldn't get into it. And I spent a good 7 hours on it, playing, and I've got a PC, and I just can't get into it. I want to love it, but I can't. I don't like Doom Eternal. But that Doom, because it's like a new Doom, after Doom 3, I really got into that. I completed it 3 times. Because when I was living in Salvation Army, I actually got that and played it in there, and I loved it, and I still love it today. It's a brilliant game, brilliant story, a little bit repetitive, but it's probably my favorite one, except for the original Dooms. Like Brutal Doom is out of this world. I love that game. But yeah,
what did you think of the latest installment
of
Doom Eternal?
Yeah, is that the one you've been talking about? Yeah.
No, I don't like Doom Eternal. This is not Doom Eternal. This is the one before Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people weren't too happy with Doom Eternal, I heard.
I weren't. I wanted to love it. Honest to God, it looked stunning. The blood, the guts, the gore, the animation were absolutely spot on. Excellent graphics, excellent story. It sounded good, the sound effects, but the actions, like triple jumping, double jumping, running over walls, flying through, like you shoot this gun and like you zoom into it, like Batman does or someone, or like Ada Wong thing, and then she goes up with it, and it's like, what are you doing? This is not Doom. Doom's you're grounded. You're a marine. You're not some super soldier that's jumping, flying around everywhere, and it's like just took it out. I took it out for me, but it looked. It had so much potential, but they just went down.
It was way overhyped, and I really wanted it to be good, especially because I'm one of them idiots that pre-ordered it, right? But I'll tell you this about Doom Eternal. I don't know if anybody in chat agrees, but it seems that us people that actually bought it with our own money and played it all thought it were crap. But yet these reviewers that got invited to go and record so much gameplay and promote it for free and stuff. Well, not for free, but paid to promote it basically. Oh, they loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's like the DLC that's just come out. People are saying you can't justify 15 quid for it, but these people that reviewed it, they love it all right.
I think sometimes it's better if like a franchise sticks to its roots, because that's why people love it so much. And if you try and change it too much, you might be going away from what people are actually going to that game for.
I want to remake Resident Evil 2. I want a remake of Resident Evil 2. That's what I want personally. And I would buy it, a remake of Resident Evil 2, because that one, they went for a different audience, and it's good, but it's not Resident Evil 2. I want the remake like they did with first one on GameCube. I bought a GameCube just for the remake, and I want another remake of Resident Evil 2. And if it comes out on a PS5, I will buy it. Or if it were limited to Xbox Series X, I'd buy an Xbox just for that game. Guaranteed.
I think if The Village fails, then they probably will go back to doing more remakes.
No, they could remake Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 again and again and again, and people love it. I will.
It'd be a good idea if they did 3 again, because I know a lot complained about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
To the proper hardcore Resident Evil fans. Same with movies. I watched the last one it were on. I don't know if it were on Amazon Prime or Netflix, but I ended up watching Resident Evil, with Mila Jovovich in it, and it were a good ending. How it ended, I thought it were all right. I mean, I loved he had so much potential. He had all characters, he got all stars, he got the Nemesis right, Raccoon City, Raccoon News, Hospital, spot on. But he gave all the glory to this woman that we've never even heard of, that's not even in the games.
It's odd, isn't it? I don't know why
like,
they do it. But
she's like, yeah, my mate Jill, and I'm like, she's not your mate. Jill doesn't even know you. You know what I mean? But
I
yeah,
think if there's a franchise you love, or like a kind of film series you like, and then it's like, say, like Hollywood come and take a foreign film that we might know, like what's that one film? Let the Right One In, vampire
oh,
film.
yeah, Let the Right One In. That's a vampire film, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very
or
good.
like and things like Death Note as well in Japan. And when it
Brilliant.
when America or Hollywood takes it and they change it, it's not the same. It's not what you love the original for. And another example is not horror related, but Final Fantasy game series. I used to love the classics more, like 7, 8, 9, when it's all turn based.
Yeah.
And since then they've changed it completely into like real time.
It's-
The story is gone in some of the games, like 15.
They say they go for a different audience. See, my brother didn't like I think it was Final Fantasy and Resident Evil. He didn't like them, but I said download the demo off the PlayStation Store. You probably like these, and he loves them because they're in that frame, that third person where you're running behind you. But to me, they're not Resident Evil, and they're not like my Final Fantasy, which I grew up with and which I love.
Yeah, I feel the same with Final Fantasy ever since. I know people like 10 a lot, but to me, everything after 9, I just cannot get into.
It's hard.
At all. But I'm glad to hear that you've seen Let the Right One In, the original.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got that on DVD.
Really, really good film.
I've seen that. Nemesis turns into a dog in the remake. Is that true?
Arf, arf.
Well, it kind of turned. Well, I thought, Dave, when Nemesis turned into a dog, it was more like he turned into a big licker when he's running around buildings. It's good. It's a good game. It is. Right. The only thing I've got a problem with Resident Evil 3 Remake, well, it's not an original remake. That's probably one. So the second bit is the ending. Right. On the Resident Evil 3 original, I'm going to do a video on it soon. The ending of Resident Evil 3 on the PS1, and then the ending on the remake. The remake is, it's like, where's the rest of the ending? I wanted to know about if they were like a secret ending, but there isn't. That's the only ending that were there. But on the PlayStation version, it's like, whoa, this is brilliant. But they're the only two things I didn't like about the remake. Sorry, were the third person view, which is what they were going for. They're trying to go to a wider audience, and the ending, which were a letdown.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a good game. I've been playing through it again.
I always like them. I don't mind playing a brand new game, a new experience, something you've never played before, but I just don't like them taking the games you know and love and then trying to make too much of it, do something different, you know? Because I still think audiences these days, like kids these days, would still love what we enjoyed back then in the 90s and early 2000s, for example. So
yeah, because on Resident Evil 3 on PS1, you can get Barry Burton. He's in the helicopter taking you away from Raccoon City. Yeah, I forgot about that, Dave. That's something good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it still have the annoying bit where you go to do that puzzle towards the end of, the original Resident Evil 3? You go to do that weird thing in that nuclear base or whatever.
The puzzles, there's not many puzzles in it. They're quite easy.
I really did my head in the first time I played Nemesis.
I think you've just got to mainly connect wires together, like for different routes for electric to go through. There's only a couple of them, as I remember. I don't think there's many puzzles in it.
I remember playing the original Nemesis, and I actually did manage to finish Resident Evil 2 and 3, other than Resident Evil 1. But I can't remember a lot of it so many years ago. So, Nathan, would you recommend I go back and play the original Nemesis or get the remake? Or the
remake? It's definitely worth a play, definitely. I mean, I bought it just for collection because I've got them all. And I've got them all and I'll have them all. I bought it for that. But I paid 15 quid for it on eBay. Brand new. No, it weren't, sorry. $24.99. But I weren't paying 50 quid for it, because I knew it weren't what I really, really wanted. If it were made like Resident Evil 1 remake, I would have paid 60 quid for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not. So I waited and waited and waited. I played the demo. I enjoyed it. I thought, yeah, it's good, but it's not for me. But I'll get it to see what they've done. And they did it quite well. They've done it well. They've done it well.
I think, so that puzzle everyone's talking about, is that the water puzzle that Davs has mentioned here?
Oh, yeah, there is a little bit one end where you've got to mix viruses together. You've got to get some and mix them together. That's quite easy. It's easy. It's, like I said, the newer games, it's telling you what to do and where to go. You know what I mean? Go here, do this, and do this.
Yeah.
And
I think some modern games are too easy. I think these days they help you too much. I like a challenge.
yeah,
That's why we started Tuba's High School Challenge.
yeah. But some people just go Google it all and go, "Oh, that's how you get 1 trillion points in 3 seconds."
Yeah, me. Right. So, for my last movie to show, it's simply got to be Child's Play, Chucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Like Darren, I can see you've got Chucky in the background there, which is a bit freaky.
It's been a good day. Good. It's been a good boy today. Yeah, all his chicken nuggets earlier on.
Oh,
I said
cool.
it for a little bit.
Definitely keep him on your good side. Yeah. So for those, oh my gosh, I was freaky. Yeah. So at the start of the stream, I don't know if everyone who's watching now heard me. I was saying like Goosebumps originally piqued my heart interest as a kid, and there was the ventriloquist dummy that was alive called Slappy. And because of Slappy, then that went into films. That's why I got interested in Chucky, because I don't know, it's something about dolls, like possessed dolls trying to kill you, that I find quite intriguing. At the same time, still freaks me the hell out. So yeah, I just absolutely love this series. I was going to buy a Chucky doll like you've got there, Darren, but I decided against it. I asked my parents when I was a kid for a ventriloquist dummy, but they said no because they knew it would freak me out, which was probably the right decision. I think with Chucky, I think it's cult, like Child's Play, it's a cult classic. And tell you something freaky. A few weeks ago, I was driving to work, and there's this truck there. And is it called Good Guys, the company that Chucky's from?
Yeah.
It said on the side of the truck, Good Guys, and it had a picture of Chucky on there. I was like, what the hell?
No way.
It's like after COVID and everything this year, I thought, yeah, that's next. That is coming.
Have you seen the remake of Child's Play?
I have seen the remake, yeah.
It's good. I thought it was good.
I thought it was good, yeah.
I liked it a lot, the remake. It was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, I still love the first one for the original, but it was quite good. Yeah, they put it on Netflix, didn't they, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I watched it.
It seems a bit different every time they bring it back, because like the old ones, if you think, were kind of just like spooky horror films, and then Bride of Chucky with this one were kind of comedy horror, and with that last one, it's like sci-fi horror comedy. It's a really good mix. I liked it, really did.
I don't like the way you're hugging Chucky so close to you there.
I told him if he ate all his dinner earlier on, he could come on your live stream for a bit. I told him not to move though, because I told him that maybe you'd get into trouble.
Yeah,
but it's all right. He's asking for Nathan's address. I keep telling him no, we don't want to be.
Give
his address instead.
Oh, my mum's got a clown at home. It's an old one. It's called Charlie. It's a proper like ceramic head, with porcelain coloured in with paint, and he's got a bottle of gin in his pocket, and he's about 2.5 foot, 3 foot big, and he's a proper smart clown pot doll, antique.
That's something that would freak me out as well.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. What are you doing? Oh, Tigger.
I'm going to stay away from dolls and things like that, I think.
Well, I know what to get you for Christmas, Matt.
Yeah.
Doll.
I'm not giving you my address, it's fine.
I'll just send it to Steve, and then he can give it you as an anonymous gift.
Has anybody watched the Underworld series? I think I've seen the first one.
Yeah, I don't really like them. I watched them because I think my ex wanted to watch one of them. I don't know.
Is that like Blade, but with a woman?
Yeah, it sort of reminded me of Van Helsing a bit.
Was you saying like skin tight leathers?
Yeah, with two guns.
Yeah. First one, we had it on copy, and it ended up crashing, so I didn't get to watch it all. But from what I watched, it looked all right.
And Dad Cruz was little, he had a life-size clown doll. Then he watched Poltergeist till that doll went down the storm after that. Oh my gosh, I can imagine.
Stay away
Freaky.
from the light, Caroline.
Poltergeist.
Man. Aaron, then, have you got your final film?
Yeah,
Am I
I'm gonna
doing
go with,
film loss?
I'm gonna go with what I think is probably my favorite horror film because, well, you never really know how long you're going to live, and it's been my favorite horror film for about 10 years now. So, yeah, it's here. I'm going to make sure you understand I'm talking about the original as well. I'm not talking about no remake with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, it's a Wicker Man, the original.
Yeah.
One of those that's hard to talk about without spoiling it. Christian police officer gets called to an island where he's told that a kid has gone missing, and then he kind of uncovers things while he's doing his research, and all the time he's just completely shocked by their old pagan religion that he just doesn't understand at all. And yeah, it's a good horror film. It's a classic horror film, and it's a really good musical horror film as well. The moments, at least half the songs that are in it are sung by the characters in the actual scenes and stuff. So they're really good. And like, I mean, yeah, Christopher Lee's just, he were excellent. This is Christopher Lee's favorite film out of all the ones he did, and he actually did this film for free. Absolutely free. Yep. They were struggling to pay everybody. What?
Is he the cult's leader?
Yeah, he's Lord Summerisle, who's basically the minister, as that guy says. Yeah, it's a really good film. Just a classic. Can't say too much though because it's all about the last 10 minutes.
I think a lot of people know about that film, but when I watched it, I didn't know anything about it, so I got to experience it proper as well without knowing anything. So that was quite good to watch back in the day. I have seen the remake. I can't remember it, but I did prefer the original, I think.
I had the chance to buy it. I used to go to this little video shop in Blackpool, and I used to spend my holiday money there. And I used to see it all the time, but I used to think it were about a giant man made out of sticks that killed people. And so I never bothered with it. It weren't until like all the guys who worked on the League of Gentlemen comedy series, like I know they all love it, and it were partly due to them kind of mentioning it all the time that made me want to see it, and it was just an instant favourite. I never thought I were ever going to see a horror film that were going to just go straight to the top of my list of just how good it is. Yeah, the films that come close, but I like it. It's a brilliant film.
Yeah, good film.
It's good fun. Nathan, then, did you want to show your last one?
Right. Yeah, this is not really a film. Well, it's a documentary, and it's called Faces of Death. It was banned in 46 countries. It's more of it is a documentary on death. It's a doctor.
46?
And he goes on, 46. And it goes through different ways of dying, like what it means and what it meant to him and the journey about dying. And it's just about like autopsies. It shows all them. It shows people committing suicide, mutilation, animal mutilation, cannibalism, ritual, monkey brains, Indiana Jones. But yeah, it's I were introduced to blood at a very early age, so I kind of crave it. You know what I mean? I'm not a vampire, but I do like seeing it. It just.
I don't know. You're looking kind of pale then. I've never seen you go outside in daylight. So
it's a bit, I think that's my lamp. But yeah, I do. I mean, I like horrors because I've been through a lot of crap in my life, and when I watch an horror, I think they're going through a worse time than me.
That's a good point.
It kind of makes me feel like my life's not that bad compared to them that are getting slaughtered, and so yeah, very good documentary. But apparently, a lot of it were created, like the electric chair. It goes on, goes on about different things like that, and it showed this guy, this inmate, and he took the electric chair and taped his eyes and did his head and all that, and then it showed him being electrocuted and blood trickling down. But apparently, all that were faked.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is that it got instantly banned over here and in 42 countries. I don't think that's true. A lot of films say that they were banned in so many countries and it's just promotion, but it was definitely banned over here.
That's a
good brains. But the weird thing is that the guy that presents it, for the most part, actually went crazy in real life because he kept
I think we lost Darren
just
there.
bullshit to try and sell it.
You
But
come back.
it's still as a documentary just on death.
Yeah, it's a good watch.
I can see why it was banned.
Yeah, it's my
So
connection.
pretty freak. I don't think it's the kind of thing I'm going to watch, but
It goes on.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube, and then I thought, oh, I might as well get it. I used to have it
Wow.
on VHS. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Faces of Death. It's good.
Right, so everybody watching Faces of Death YouTube, unless you want to sleep or yeah.
But like
That's
my
a-
mate was saying to me, he thinks he's going to die, my mate. And I've been trying to comfort him. He's like, does it hurt? I says, well, you know, like he gets a pain in his leg. He got run over a while back and he's got a really sore leg. And I said, death will probably be like that little pain and it'll go, but it won't be all the time. It'll only happen once. You know, so I don't think death will be painful unless you're being tortured, which most people die in their sleep or they die in a coma. You know, we don't suffer.
No.
I don't think we do. Unless you, like I say, you've been tortured or you've been badly hurt. You know.
Let's pray to God that never happens.
Yeah. But like 90% of people die peacefully.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's the way we all want to go, I think, one day.
Yeah.
Question for you both. If you're watching a horror film late at night and it's like really freaky, really scary, can you go to bed straight after, or do you have to watch something lighter first to take your mind off it? Darren, you still with us? You've frozen on the screen. Oh, I think Darren might have gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone. Are you there, bud?
Give me up.
Yeah, I can just hear you. Oh, he's back.
Oh, there you go. Oh, no, he's there. I'll see if Darren can come back in. So, Nathan, yeah, so that question to you then.
No, I don't think. I usually watch something like that to calm me down, you know.
The opposite.
No. I mean, when I've seen some proper sick stuff on like Twitter, if you want, Twitter should be called the dark web. I'm telling you, Twitter is ruthless. You name it, it is on Twitter. I'm telling you, name it, it is on Twitter. And I've seen some sick stuff on there. And then, because it does affect you, because you know it's real. You know, it's been filmed off an iPhone. And then I think, whoa, you take a step back and you've got to watch something happy to try and really get rid of that. So, yeah, I would do if it's real.
Yeah,
But
if it's real, it's a whole different ballgame, isn't it? I mean, we can all enjoy horror and stuff, films, when it's fictional. When it becomes real life, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's all on Twitter. Twitter needs banning.
I completely missed the question.
Right, so Darren, I was asking, when you watch a horror film like late at night and it's quite scary, can you go to bed straight after, or do you have to watch something lighter first to take your mind off it?
No, I can usually just go straight to bed. The first time I saw Amityville 2, The Possession, just something to do with how it ends and the creepy music that sounds like kids doing this weird choir. I don't know, just the way it ends and when the credits come up, that's the one time I can think of where, I had to go and watch a little bit of Lee Evans after that just to cheer myself up.
Yeah, that's
I
Dave.
I can't remember.
Yeah, nice one, Dave. Yeah, Dave knows. Dave Priest. Honestly, Matt, Twitter is the deep web. Literally, it is the deep web.
Yeah, I mean, I guess pretty much you can find anything you want to on Twitter. They don't really censor stuff there and things like that. So I think I'll just stick to following my gaming channel. Sorry, Dan, you say something then?
Sorry, he's going again.
You're going again.
Yeah, can you hear me still?
Can you hear you?
Can you hear?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear us? I'm not sure if Darren can hear us.
I can hear you guys, but it keeps glitching at my end.
All right. Well, we can still hear you fine. Your camera glitches every now and then.
Yeah, he's all right. You can hear him.
Are you sure it's not messing around with your camera?
What you need to do, Darren, is when now you need to buy a 50-foot Ethernet cable, whack it in back of your PC, and take it to router.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us. Catch you again.
Yeah, I was gonna say my connection went. I was gonna say to Lucas, what is your second favorite werewolf film?
Lucas, if you're
He
still
said
there.
a minute, yeah, he said a minute ago that his favourite is American Werewolf in London, but
I am going to buy that, aren't I? I bought Hereditary, so that's coming.
yeah, that's good.
I'll have to look at.
Did you just buy that now during the live stream?
When you're going on about, I want to watch it. I want to see it now.
I should have got eBay up as well, looking at all these movies, and definitely some I want to check out. Definitely.
Yeah, Silver Bullet or the original Wolfman's definitely my favourite werewolf film. I like American Werewolf in London, but I can't watch it all the time because I don't know. It's good. We prefer Silver Bullet or Wolfman.
That question I asked you then about if you can go straight to bed or if you got to watch something later. The times I've got to watch something later is if I'm watching kind of like real footage, should we say, of like paranormal activity happening in someone's house or like paranormal activity, the actual film. Like when I've seen that, 'cause it seems a bit more real. I'm like, let's watch some cartoon intros or something, yeah, and things like that. There was a channel on here. I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember a video where a guy was playing like Xbox Connect, and like this ghost apparently appeared on screen next to him? You could see like all the dots.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Did they do it with like a heat sensor camera, and they showed it being moved through the?
Yeah, with a little
Yeah,
dots.
That guy went on to claim his house was that haunted, and he made a whole series of freaky videos. Like if you watch it, stuff I can't explain. But apparently, I have heard that I've read an article that thinks it is all fake. But if it is fake, the way he's done it is so realistic. It does freak you out. Some of the stuff. Like at one point, he's filming his stairs, and you suddenly hear someone run up the stairs, and I'm like, "Oh no, not for me."
Creeps right back up your spine.
Oh, yeah. If that happened, I had a similar experience here that one time where I heard someone walk up the stairs, and my parents had been out for a meal. So I thought they'd come back with me because I'm sure I heard the front door open, and I heard all this like, whoosh, and I thought, I was watching the DVD at the time, so I pressed pause because I thought it was playing up, right? And the sound went away. So I thought, yeah, that DVD is actually working, is playing up. Pressed play, and everything was fine, and suddenly this noise came back. This whoosh. I paused it, and the noise was still going on. I was like, what the hell? And then I heard someone slowly coming up the stairs, pause outside my bedroom door, and then the door was closed. I was that scared because like no one was answering me, and it felt different. I was like that, and then it just whatever it was walked down, disappeared. That's the only experience I've ever had, really. But things like that, like a bit more real, freak me out. There's probably an explanation for it, but oh my gosh, that time
can be scary.
Oh. So have you guys ever experienced anything like that? Any kind of strange goings on in the house or anything?
Well, when I was younger, I was at my mum's. I used to have my record decks set up in my room, and I was watching. I think I was playing Burnout Underground on Xbox, and I had my big speakers with my decks, and there was this Obi-Wan. Wait, Obi-Wan? No, Qui-Gon Jinn. Is it Qui-Gon?
Yeah.
I had a figure on my speaker, and there were no sound, there were no wind or anything. I play my game, and it like somebody just tapped it off my speaker, and it flew off my speaker and landed on the floor.
Ooh.
And I thought, that's weird. So I put it back, just put it straight back up, and that right. Nothing's ever happened except for that. That's the only thing I can't explain. There's a plastic figure on a speaker in the middle, no wind, no sound coming through it, and it were like in the middle on top of the speaker, and it was like someone just tapped it, just like that.
So you got me a bit worried now because I've got all my little figures up here on the shelves as well. So I'm like,
it didn't scare me. It was like, that was weird.
Yeah, like unexplained. You're trying to figure out what's happening.
It was really weird. Like I said, there were no windows were closed. There was no music on, so there was no vibration. But yeah, that's the only thing that's ever happened to me. I've never seen a ghost. That's the only thing I've ever experienced.
I've never seen anything physically. Well, the top hat demon kind of thing that I saw standing in my corner of the room once, that was weird. I'm not saying I did see it. I might have imagined it, but at the time it seemed real and it stayed with me all these years. So I don't know. And a lot of people have said they've seen this top hat demon in some shape or form. around the world. So that's a bit freaky. Tony says he had a ghost at the other house going upstairs every night. He heard creepy footsteps. Are you sure that just wasn't a neighbor, Tony? Or was the house abandoned? Or that'd be interesting to find out.
A neighbor sometimes. I'll tell him though. Make sure he's all right.
Yeah,
that's my excuse if I hear him banging and shouting. I'm like, "Are you all right?" Or could he stand like on my door?
Darren, what about you? And if you want to talk about it, of course. Like, have you ever experienced anything weird happen in the house or anything like that? Or
I've thought I've seen things before. When you've got to blink and then it's not there, and it could have just been anything.
Yeah.
The one time when I stayed at my grandparents when I was a kid, I used to get up really early. I used to go to bed early, get up early, run down and play teletext, stuff like that. And one morning I woke up, but it was way too early to bother going down to play teletext or watch TV, kids shows and stuff. And long story short, I'm laying in bed at my grandparents' house, and this black figure comes. Imagine this is a black figure, and it's like somebody's pushing it sideways, but it's not walking. It's just, and that appeared in front of me, and I was scared to death, and I just pretended not to move, pretended to be asleep, and I don't know whether it was. Do you know when you're scared and you hear the ringing in your ears? I don't know if you've ever had that. It was like that, but really, really bad.
Man.
And then a second one came in. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up whatsoever. I could set a lie detector or whatever.
Yeah.
The door to the room was open and it had glass panels in it. I never saw the first one come in until it were already moving. I saw the second one slowly move its way in behind the thing. And the whole thing must have lasted about 40 seconds.
That's
and
crazy.
They were stood there looking at me. Black figures, no faces, no features. Just looked like two completely black human things stood the same height looking at me for about 30 seconds. And then they went the exact same way they came in. And I've seen other things before, but it's been nothing. It's like, wake up in the night, you think you see something, you blink and it's gone. That terrified me because I didn't want to know I were awake, whatever they were, or whatever they could have been, because that would have scared me more, knowing that they knew I were watching them.
Yeah.
And another thing that I thought about was, do I shout for my grandparents? But then I thought, well, no, because they're going to have to come in and see the same thing that I'm seeing. And it would it were really, really, I didn't like it. It's not one of these cool ghost stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see something like when you wake up, obviously your eyes are still trying to like adjust to the dark, and like a split second, you could be anything, your imagination. But when you see something like what you just described for that length of time, oh my gosh, sorry for making you relive that. But yeah, it becomes a lot more like believable and realistic then, doesn't it? When like if it's like a second, you wave it off. If it's something like that, I don't think I'd ever sleep again personally. But wow. Hope that never happens again to you.
I've got
nothing like that ever. Nothing. There's a weird story of my parents' house downstairs. They used to have this like rockery in the corner, like that you had the TV on top of, like bricks cemented into this fancy thing. And it's nothing to do with ghosts really. But when about 10 years ago, when they got somebody in to remove the stones, to make more room in the living room. Turns out that the guy that they paid to do it in the first place, to build it, rather than use the money to go and buy some bricks, he'd gone to a graveyard, found some old graves, smashed them up and built the entire thing out of graves. And, I'm not a skeptic because of the thing that happened at my grandparents' house. But you can just imagine what possibly could have happened. All sorts of crap could have happened. But there's been nothing, just footsteps up the stairs, footsteps down the stairs. Was it the cart? Was it not the cart? But that could have been problematic. That really could have, like I said, I'm sort of skeptical, but I'm sort of not. It could have caused serious issues. Somebody could have, I don't know, got hurt. Somebody could have got hurt, I think. And when the guy's taking it apart, he couldn't believe. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. When he's turning around to show us, like, you're not going to believe what these bricks are. Crazy.
That's crazy.
Really, just mental. Who do that? Who do that?
Yeah.
People that want money, greed.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I got to see something to believe it, but I've always got an open mind just because of those two little things I experienced that time. And when you hear people telling these stories, you can tell that thing that your grandparents has really freaked you out. So, and that grave thing, that's just really, really creepy. I don't know why you do that in the first place. Even if it was to save money, just, man. So Dav has not seen the ghost, but one time in a friend's house, after his nan passed away, a picture flew off the shelf and then face up. Wow. Like Nathan said, no wind or anything. Creepy stuff going on. Nathan, did you say you had a story?
Well, we were on about when you when you go to sleep and you wake up and your pupil can dilate and all that stuff. And when pirates wear an eye patch, it's not because they've lost an eye. It's so when they go into ships and they go to loot, they can take that patch up and they've got night vision in that eye, so they can look what's in there. It was done on Mythbusters as well, because when you close your eye, and if you go, well, you know what I mean, don't you? When you're in dark, when you wake up, you can see in dark, can't you? You know, that's like a natural thing that we have. You can see where you're going, but when you take light on, your pupils go smaller until to stop more light going in. So pirates used to wear a patch, so when they went down under deck into a ship, they lifted up and they could see where they were going.
Wow.
And you know why in army they have that red on the torch, the red light? If you have a red torch and you're in dark, it doesn't affect your night vision. Wow. It's not bright. It's good. It's clever, that. That's why because if you're using white, it'll affect your night vision. It'll make your pupils go smaller, so you'll have to adjust them 5-6 minutes after. But if you use red, it doesn't do anything. It keeps your night vision.
I don't think I'm going to go to bed tonight. I just might just stay up and play games all night.
What am I gonna do? I think I'm gonna do my horror questions for next week.
I want to watch that. I want to do a VR to that.
Yeah,
if everyone's watching Walking the Cow down here, he has put out a video asking horror questions in honor of Halloween. So please go and check out his video and do a VR to that. That would be absolutely cool. I'm gonna make mine as well. Maybe not tonight because I'm still pretty freaked out from all these chats.
That's another reason I removed the Halloween 2020 part from it, because I thought people might think they've got to do it by then, and just do it whenever. No rush at all. Yeah,
that's always the best. And no rush. You just do it at your time, and then I think you're more likely to get VRs if people aren't given like a deadline or something like that.
I'm still a bit freaked out of talking about that story, to be honest. And I knew, for some reason, that something like that were going to come up. You were going to ask if we'd had any weird.
I didn't actually need to go into ghost stories. I was going to stick to talking about like horror films and games, but I thought Halloween, it's all spooky. You got to talk about some things. So maybe you're going to have to watch something lighter, like those cartoon intros after this live stream, Darren, to forget about it.
Thundercats and
strange. It's weird. Like at that age, if I'd have seen like I don't know somebody that had been killed, maybe that'd have affected me in one way. But this is something just completely. Well, like I've said, just completely different. It was scary, very, very, very scary. Especially when I'm fearing for my grandparents' life. I daren't shout at them. I daren't do a thing. It's like sleep paralysis. It was similar, but sleep paralysis, you can't move and you're finding it hard to breathe. I could move. I chose to stay still because if you ever seen that film White Noise and there's them three things, just imagine two of those in a room. Yeah. That looks exactly like that.
Bill Payne just said he's had sleep paralysis one night. It looked like a shadow person holding him down. My mum told me a similar story that happened to her as well when she was a kid. She felt like this weight on top of her holding her down. She could not move. Fortunately, I've never had it. But, man, if it happens to so many people, you wonder sometimes, is it something to do with the human body? Or is it actually some kind of entity out there that's doing it to you? Bit freaky. But I know a lot of people have seen shadow peoples and stuff, so...
Yeah, it's fucking fair. You can't prove it and you can't not disprove it.
Yeah.
I know with
That's right.
sleep paralysis, they say that it's kind of like your eyes are awake, but the rest of your body's kind of not. They can explain that, but they can't explain, just
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. I could that wasn't paralysis because I could move and breathe fine.
Yeah.
It's weird. In America, they call sleep paralysis the hag because a lot of people see this thing that's sat on the chest, making it hard to breathe. Sometimes red eyes, and sometimes people see a number of red eyes in the room.
Red eyes is quite a common story with like the Shadow Man, the Top Hat Demon. A lot of people always say about like a goofy, like jagged, teethy grin as well. When I saw it, I never saw that. I just saw like a tall shadow figure with a top hat. And that's the only shadow thing I've ever seen. But there's a lot of stories out there with so many similarities. It's creepy in regards to that.
Yeah, there are people out there
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. There are people out there making good money making crap up. Have you ever seen the Conjuring films, the Warrens were? That's a long story, but the Amityville thing were a massive hoax. But yeah, we all know people that we know wouldn't lie, and they have these stories. And sometimes, like you say, did you see it or did you not? But sometimes when somebody's telling me that they're waking up in the middle of the night and they're seeing the dead grandma stood at the bottom of the bed smiling at them, and they feel nothing but calmness. And I don't even believe in the afterlife, but I do believe that people are seeing some kind of weird representation of the dead relative. But that's a long story.
I mean,
it's a soul or whatever.
It could be your brain, if you miss someone that much, maybe you're like conjuring that up yourself. Then again, maybe you're not. Like,
I've been diagnosed with psychosis because I hear voices, and I've never seen anything, but I'm delusional, and all that. But I could hear my dad. My dad passed away 10 years ago, but I could hear him shouting at me. I could feel things touching me, stroking me on my shoulder. But it's psychosis, and the touching and stroking's nerves.
So that's like in your head, and
no, it's external. It's like nodding my head. Voices are coming from like over there. They're going, Nathan, and it's my dad, but he's dead. So that's psychosis. That's what they've called it. So that's why I'm diagnosed. I've got medication, and it does stop it, but sometimes it does. It's scary. It is scary. I used to hear that quite a lot when I'm going to sleep. I'll hear a woman say Nathan, and the breath, like when you speak, you produce breath, and I can feel the breath on my ear saying Nathan, and that's shit scary.
Wow. That must be horrible to really go through.
Psychosis. It's like, well, I'm doing that. I'm making it up, so it's not out there. So I've kind of got used to it, and my medication does help. But when it happens, and it used to happen every night, even during the day, I'd hear my dad. I'd be going making a brew, and I'd hear him shout me like he needed me.
Wow.
And and he's dead. But that's why, like I am.
Yeah, that is wow. I can't imagine what that'd be like to experience like that.
I ask people, I said, do you never hear your voices or like that? And they're like, no. I says, when you're like half and half, when you're in bed and you somebody breathe on your head and say your name right close, I'm like, no. I'm like, flipping out. Well, I do.
I'll tell you two things that happened to me recently. I forgot about until we just been talking about this. It must have been a few months ago. I was lying in bed. Now, I'm not sure if I dreamt this because I think I was just dropping off to sleep, and then right in my face, I heard someone go, huh? Like a laugh, and I was like,
growls.
What the hell?
Growls as well. I've heard growls.
Yeah, and I looked around, I was like, hello? Who's there?
Yeah,
and right. I thought I still can't prove it, I'm not sure, but there's like a laugh.
Stress. Stress can cause
and then, since we've got our new dog, Pepsi, this is weird, right? The first week, he started barking in the middle of the night, and it wasn't until the morning after that my dad said to me, do you know what, it was weird. I heard someone in the house say woof, and he started barking. And then it came back to me, I heard the exact same thing. This man say woof, and then the dog started barking. We both heard it, and I was like, what the hell is that? Unless it was someone outside, maybe.
That's external. That's an external voice that you're hearing. It's not in your head. You hear it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I thought maybe it's someone out in the street, but then it seemed too close and clear for that, and we both heard it. So I don't know. Maybe, but yeah.
I hope you're not getting psychosis like me.
After this year, anything is possible. I'm telling you.
No. But yeah,
it will do if you watch this kind of podcast.
Than what I wear anyway. But like I said, them voices, they can be scary. They are scary. Well, they are. But I haven't heard them for a while. But I've been writing it all down. When I do hear something, I feel something, I write it down. And I'll tell my doctor. But
have you ever tried like recording anything to see if like
I don't have anything to do. My phone only does 33 minutes. I don't have anything I could. The only thing I could do is turn my laptop on and go live on YouTube while I'm going to sleep.
I've tried recording stuff, cassette players and VHS old camcorders. I left a tape player in a graveyard overnight on battery powered on record. It picked up walking and it picked up a dog. Me and my friend, when I first got my video camera, I wouldn't call this a ghost experience. It was weird. I used to go around to my friend's house and set the video camera up in the corner of the room, and we used to call it playing Big Brother. You know, we'd just record his entire night, just sat there watching TV. And in the background, there's a door, and the camera's pointing where there on the sofa, there's a door. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, and the door handle slowly goes down and then slams. Now, we were too scared to go out and see what was going on. Now, his stepdad were upstairs. And the next day, Monday at school, my friend told me his stepdad came down and shut the door. We were making too much noise. And I found out years later, my friend told me that to shut me up because I wouldn't stop talking about it. And because he told me it was his stepdad, I got rid of the tape. Otherwise, I'd have still had it. And it weren't his stepdad at all. It was weird. If it were his stepdad, he'd have come down and go at us at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Man. These are some spooky stories tonight. I think Steve, if you're watching this still, you're probably lucky that you weren't part of this, but we would love to hear your stories as well. So that's more. How are you guys looking for time?
I'm gonna go and maybe watch a film, maybe at night.
Okay, we can end it. Is there any like other films or games you want to talk about quickly then before we end it?
Resident Evil 2 remake.
We can see how much Nathan wants that.
And a Manhunt remake.
Manhunt, yeah, I played the demo, I think, but I never caught the game. They banned that for a while, didn't they? But then they unbanned it.
Good game is that. It's on PS2, I think. Yeah, PS2, Xbox original. It's on Steam. But they need to do a remake, but they're not bothering because Rockstar, they want to do GTA 6. They'll want to put all their effort into that, and Red Dead Redemption. They're the main ones.
Yeah. Planet Retro Al. What's this all about? You've missed most of it. We've been talking about our favorite horror games, horror films, scary experiences that have happened to us. It's definitely a good watch this live stream, so I think you have to go back and watch them, but it's been pretty good. Dark Priest wants a Silent One Hill remake.
Yeah, definitely. And they need to keep it like they've done it in the past.
Yeah.
All these new Resident Evil movies that are coming out as well in 2021. I think they're ready to come out.
Okay.
The new remake. Well, it's not the one with like Mila Jovovich. They're actually basing it around the games, but movies. That's going to be brilliant. I can't wait for them.
Darren, is there anything, other films or games you want to talk about before we end it?
I think I've gone on enough about things today. No, if anybody's watching and you like The Wicker Man, the original one, go check out a film called Midsommar that came out within the last 2 years. That's one I'd recommend. It's a really good film, that one. It's very similar, but a bit more gory. And
okay, before you guys go then, any Halloween plans?
A lot of praying.
Yeah. Man,
not
Halloween after what we've talked about today.
Kind of praying. Not that kind of praying.
We're in like year 2 or 3, so we can't really do much, but I'll probably just be watching The Fog and I'll probably watch The Fog at Halloween maybe.
Well, here in Wales, obviously we're on a full lockdown. Like Dav, you know what I'm talking about. So we won't be doing it. We won't be getting trick-or-treaters for the first time this year in many years.
I've not thought of that.
But I've recently got into Dungeons and Dragons. Me and a few friends play online every Friday. and we're doing a Halloween one-shot kind of thing, so that's going to be interesting. But guys, thank you for both for coming on tonight, and especially as well for being so honest in some of your stories there, because I know it might be pretty difficult for you to tell, so I really do appreciate that. And yeah, I've had a good time. I've enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy it too, Nathan and Darren.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, thanks for getting me on. It's been good. It's been nice of you as well. You could have got Gashead Steve on instead of me. He likes horror.
Gashead Steve. But I knew you guys knew each other well, and I thought you both into your horrors. I thought, yeah. Gashead Steve, I still love you if you're watching. You will be on in the future.
You could make it a thing. Get another lot of people on. Yeah,
me and Steve have talked about doing that because what was the first live stream we did? I think we were doing recaps for Steve's picking the Two High School Challenge. Then it was mine, so we did recaps, and then we did our live pickups. So me and Steve are trying to do a live stream once a month. The reason Steve's not here for anyone joining in now is because it's his anniversary, which he says he didn't forget about it. He knew when it was. He just didn't realize what day it was. So that's why he's not here tonight, but he was going to join in. But yeah, we're going to try and get special guests on again in the future. Oh my, Darren, what are you doing?
I'll be making a brew in my cup.
I'll put Gizmo on to wipe Chucky out of your mind.
Oh, Matt's frozen. Matt, are you there? I wonder if got him.
I hope them bloody shadow people that come for me at my grandma's aren't going.
I know, I'm thinking that. I hope we've not cursed him.
Oh, right, we're back.
He's back.
Right. What was I just saying? Yeah, go check out Nathan's Gaming, Walking the Cow. Especially do a VR to Walking the Cow's like Halloween horror questions. That'll be great. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And boom, see you soon. Yeah. All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers, man. Yeah. Take care.